Yo, what's good YouTube? It's your boy Des Reacts back with another banger of a video, man. This one we got SAS versus Delta Force. Which is better? You know I gotta go with my home team, so I'm gonna go with Delta Force, but this video is gonna break it down for us, right? Obviously I know SAS is, top tippity top tier one, right? Like they invented the special forces. If there isn't, the SAS, special forces probably wouldn't be invented for Lord knows how long, right? Until someone figured it out. But they're the first to do it for like a little 6-man squads and all that. Obviously you could date back to like the samurais and ninjas and all that, but that's different time, different era. We're talking like the modern war, special forces, 6-man squads for the most part. Like these dudes are dogs. We're gonna figure it out, man. If you guys haven't, please smash that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. Let me know what other videos you guys want me to react to. You guys can hit me up on my Instagram, Twitter, whatever else I got, man. Hit me up on it. I got you guys. More than happy to respond. Discord. But yeah, without further ado, man, this one should be good. SAS versus Delta Force, which is better? Before we start, put 1 in the comments right now if you think SAS is better, and put 2 in the comments right now if you think Delta Force is better. Then at the end of the video, put like an edit in your comment and let me know if you changed your mind or not, and why or why not. It'll be pretty sweet. I like to know you guys' feedback. But without further ado, let's get it.
What might surprise you is that many Special Forces units can trace their roots back to the UK's Special Air Service, or simply SAS. One such unit heavily influenced by the SAS is Delta Force, Tier 1 Special Forces of the US military. This raises the question: how similar are Delta Force and the SAS? How are they selected and trained? What type of weapons do they use? And, most importantly, which unit is better? Join us as we explore these two globally respected special operations forces in this ultimate showdown: Special Air Service versus Delta Force. Established in 1941 by British Army officer David Stirling, the SAS originated in North African deserts during World War II. Stirling had a daring vision to outfox Germans in North Africa. He devised a strategy involving small parachute teams to infiltrate enemy territory, collect intelligence, sabotage, and disrupt supply routes. After presenting his bold idea to his high command, the SAS was given the green light. At the beginning.
Now that was an interesting story. I've definitely did a video on, like, it was a 2-part documentary like on this situation. It's crazy, man. They infiltrated airports, blew up hundreds of planes, like single-handedly, I don't want to say single-handedly, but they're a major factor in, the turnout of the African, theater, right? The North Africa theater of the war. If it wasn't for SAS, it could have turned out 100% different.
Beginning, the SAS was called L Detachment Special Air Service Brigade. But don't let the term brigade fool you. The SAS started with just 5 officers and around 60 soldiers. This was a deception strategy to confuse the enemy into believing there were thousands of SAS troops. During World War II, the SAS proved highly effective in Africa, the Mediterranean, Northwest Europe, and notably D-Day. After the Great War, the SAS was disbanded briefly, but was later reformed, paving the way for the modern SAS as we know today. Over the years, the SAS earned a global reputation, taking part in high-stakes missions like the Iranian embassy siege, Gulf War, and the War on Terror. Their motto, "Who Dares Wins," reflects their fearless spirit and has set a standard for others to follow. Delta Force was formed in 1977 in response to various terrorist incidents. Charlie Beckwith, a Green Beret and Vietnam War veteran, worked with the British Army's 22nd Special Air Service during the Malayan Emergency. Beckwith believed the U.S. Army lacked a dedicated unit for direct action and counterterrorism, unlike the U.S. Army Special Forces, which mainly trained and assisted local fighters. Beckwith had a vision of creating small teams that could adapt and work on their own for special missions. He shared his idea with his superiors, but they were reluctant to make any changes. Finally, in the mid-1970s, as the threat of
with DevGru, man. So it wasn't for that guy they wouldn't have created DevGru, right? Like, I think that's so dope. Just knowing the history of this stuff. Like, he went and trained with the SAS soldiers, and he was like, wait a minute, we need something like this. Yeah, we got special forces, like, you know, with the Army, Marines, probably all that. They had the SEALs at this time for sure, but not just like a super covert, like almost off the books, like not really heard about type situations like the, you know, SAS, which, you know, I feel like every country needs a unit like that, honestly.
Terrorism grew. The Pentagon and Army appointed Beckwith to form the unit. On November 19th, 1977, Beckwith and Colonel Thomas Henry officially formed Delta Force. They selected the initial members from volunteers and them through rigorous training to assess their physical fitness, endurance, and mental toughness. It took almost 18 months to finish the training course. By the autumn of 1979, Delta Force had become mission ready. The UK
Almost
Special
2
Forces
years.
don't recruit from the general public. They accept applications from UK Armed Forces. However, historically, most of the candidates comes from the Royal Marines or Parachute Regiment. In October 2018, they opened SAS recruitment to women. The selection process takes place twice a year.
So if I'm not mistaken, there hasn't been a woman yet in the SAS. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's my understanding that there hasn't been one that passed so far. But I understand, women can do what men do, right? But it's going to be very interesting when a woman actually passed the test and actually gets selected. Like, it's going to be a historic moment. And I know for a fact I don't think there's a woman in Delta Force, but that'd be pretty sweet. And so they said they took them from the Royal Marines and the Parachute Regiment. Have any of you guys served any of those two regiments? Let me know in the comments. Were any of you guys in the SAS? If you're allowed to tell me, let me know in the comments. That'd be pretty crazy.
Typically, only a small fraction, around 10% of candidates successfully pass it. The initial phase lasts for 4 weeks in the Brecon Beacons, with around 200 candidates. They kick things off with a fitness test, like 50 sit-ups, 60 push-ups, and a 1.5-mile run. Then, to march 8 miles in 2 hours, carrying a 25-pound load. By the end of this phase, they got to run 4 miles in under half an hour and swim 2 miles in an hour and a half. In 2015, a young
That would get me, the swimming part, bro. Swimming is so, like, exhausting. And you gotta swim 2 miles in an hour and a half after you done all that other nonsense. Is it all consecutive? Or is it like you do this training, rest for a few days, hit the next training? Or is this like one course? Like you're going. This is like a 1-day event. If so, that's brutal.
recruit
And somebody died.
During the exercise just a quarter mile from the end.
Wow.
At a location known as VW Valley. 2 other soldiers also died that day, leading to an inquiry. It became even more challenging with the grand finale, a grueling endurance test that requires them to march 40 miles with full gear and conquer the Penifan Mountain within 20 hours. Next, they
Where is the Penifan Mountain? Let me know in the comments.
get to places like Belize, Brunei, or Malaysia for jungle training, where they learn navigation, patrol, and survive in the wild. Once back in the UK, it's time to study battle plans, foreign weapons, and go through combat survival drills. The whole thing wraps up with a week of escape and evasion training. The candidates are split into teams, given a tin can of survival gear, and dressed in old-school World War II uniforms. Their mission? Reach a specific spot by sunrise. The final test, known as Resistance to Interrogation, focuses on teaching candidates how to withstand 36-hours-long interrogation. The Delta operator selection process takes place twice a year and lasts 4 weeks at Camp Dawson in West Virginia. To apply, you need to be a male with high score on a military aptitude test and have at least 2.5 years left in your military service. You also must be eligible for a secret-level security clearance and have a good behavior record. The process starts with the...
I wonder what qualifies people to have like a high clearance, like classified clearance. And obviously they said you have to be a male, you can't be a female, which, I get it. Bigger, stronger, faster, right? But it's like, it's interesting. I feel like with these times, I'm shocked like Congress or something didn't like step in and try forcing the military to do it a certain way.
Physical tests like a 2-mile run, an inverted crawl, and a 110-yard swim while wearing full gear. After that, candidates go through land navigation.
I don't know if the SAS had to swim in full gear. Did they? They have to swim with their gun, their backpack, all that nonsense. Oh, man. That would suck.
Courses, including an 18-mile night hike carrying a 40-pound backpack, using only a paper map and compass. The final challenge is the long walk, a 40-mile march over tough terrain with a 45-pound backpack. There's also a mental part with psychological exams. It's really tough, and most candidates, about 90%, don't make it through the selection. Once SAS recruits survive the tough selection process and earn their SAS wings, they enter a training phase that never really ends. A substantial portion of their training revolves around counterterrorism, conducted at a facility known as the Killing House. Here, SAS troopers practice their close-quarter battle skills. They perfect techniques for entering rooms using stun grenades, tear gas, and breaching walls and doors. They learn landing on rooftops, getting access using ladders or explosives. The SAS are extensively trained in storming hijacked trains and aircraft. One crucial part of special ops work is sneaking into enemy territory. SAS recon teams learn to hide from the enemy for days, sitting quietly in concealed spots. During this phase, the troopers learn espionage skills as well. The SAS are trained to sneak deep into enemy territory to sabotage. In close protection course, the troops learn to protect VIPs.
As was shown in like Sierra Leone, or wherever they were that one time where they had to rescue the SAS guys, like they were hidden for like a few days and they were only like, 50 yards away from the enemy camp, which that's insane to really think about. On top of that, it's like, do you guys think like this job's fun for them? Like, I understand it's life or death, adrenaline rush, but they 100% enjoy their job. I think there ain't a guy out there, you wouldn't be out there if you didn't enjoy your job. Like, I feel like it's pretty fun. Training's probably fun for them. Like the close quarter combat training. I'm not talking about like the 40-mile hike, the swimming for 2 miles, all that bull junk. I ain't talking about that.
Force training is among the toughest in the world. After making it through the selection, recruits face a 6-month operator training course, split into 6 parts. First up is marksmanship, where they start by shooting stationary targets up close, then move to moving targets, and eventually learn how to clear rooms full of enemies. Next comes demolition and breaching in the second block. They get into stuff like lockpicking, making improvised explosive devices from everyday stuff, and setting up sniper positions around buildings. In the third block, they combine all their skills from the first 2 and use them in direct action, counterterrorism, and hostage rescue operations. The fourth block is all about espionage, with CIA instructors teaching things like dead drops, quick meetings, secret signals for loading and unloading, surveillance, and how to spot someone tailing you. Block number 5 is about executive protection, where Delta
Wow, okay. So in Delta Force, the CIA trains them to do some of that stuff, like surveil, see if someone's following you, all that crazy stuff. That's crazy. I didn't know the CIA taught them that. That's some good advice.
operators learn how to protect VIPs. Finally, they wrap things up with a big test called Culmination Exercise, where they must put all their skills they've learned to the test. Both units have access to a wide range of firearms. They train with various military weapons from around the world, including Kalashnikovs. Having a good understanding of these weapons is crucial because they might be called upon to teach foreign troops. In emergencies, both units may need to use enemy firearms found on fallen enemies during escape and evasion missions. In false flag operations, they deliberately opt for firearms associated with another force to conceal their own identities. The primary rifle used by the
Yeah, I feel like they do that quite a bit because they want to keep it native, because if you drop some terrorists, some enemies, in a country that you're not supposed to be in, that no one knows you're supposed to be in, and they find out that the weapons come back to, American M4 or something like that, it's going to raise red flags and raise questions. And then like the global superpowers, like the president, Kremlin, whatever you guys got, prime minister, they'll start butting heads. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to cause a war. So that's pretty interesting that they use foreign weapons in some missions. which, you know, it's smart.
The SAS is the HK-53, and when things get up close, they rely on the MP5, a compact submachine gun, and Glock 17.
I like the MP5.
Delta Force usually goes into action with an
MP5 is my favorite submachine gun on Call of Duty. Great gun.
HK-416, M4A1 carbine, and the M249 machine gun squad automatic weapon.
The SAW.
The Deltas are armed with MP7 submachine guns and a bunch of sniper rifles.
MP7s
Here's the
are
cool
good
part.
too.
These guns are super customized to suit each operator's style. They tweak things like the stock, grips, sights, and other parts to make them just right. Plus, they use the latest tech gadgets for info and precision strikes. At the end of the day, both Delta Force and SAS are all highly professional and capable special operations forces. Neither Delta Force nor SAS holds a clear advantage over the other. They both boast impressive histories in warfare and bring valuable expertise to the world of special operations. But we're curious, which one do you favor? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below.
Wow, man, that was a really interesting video. I really like how the Delta Force gets to customize their own weapons, sights, grips, stocks, foregrips, under barrels, barrels. Like, I think that's very, very cool just because, you know, everyone's different, you know. Some people might prefer a vertical grip, some people might prefer the angular grip, and it's cool that Delta Force could change it up. He didn't mention SAS can do that, which I'll assume that they can, but I don't know how broad of attachments are for the gun they use. But wow, that was a really cool video. Let me know your guys' thoughts and comments in the video. Personally, I think Delta Force, just based off what he said, like with their trainings and all that, and I know it's all watered down and summed up quick, there's obviously a lot more that goes to it in both of them, but you know, getting taught by the CIA and all that stuff, I think like that's next level. But appreciate you guys, man. If you guys enjoyed this video, please smash that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.